What's up, guys? Rhett Tollison, KST Customs. Today we've got the two new Harley Davidson CVO models, 2023. Don't really know what to call them at this point. 2023 and a half. But anyways, just wanted to go over a few things in regards to fitment, what we've got coming down the pipe as far as styles that we're going to be offering for them. And just a few, changes that Harley's made to the whole rider experience. All right, we'll talk about the Street Glide first. We have actually got a 14-inch Bison bagger on here. Had to make several design changes due to the changes that Harley has made. Probably the biggest one is the controls. They've made these a lot bigger. You can do more with them, and because of that, it has made this whole section at the handle longer. So the biggest thing that we had to combat was the overall width of the handlebar. We just threw a regular Bison bagger on here, and it was in the 44-inch range, so it was stupid wide. So we did away with the reduction that we've done previously. To taper everything down so that your master cylinders on your brake and clutch would fit against the bar good. Harley has changed the brake reservoir and put it more behind the switch housing so it doesn't actually come into contact with the handlebar. So we did away with that. That cut down about 2.5 inches on each side. We were also able to narrow up the base a little bit. Number one, so that it fit the fairing better, and two, to cut down on the overall width. The Bison is measured out at about 37.5 inches tip to tip. That is with the grips on. The Mayhem bagger, it measures out at about 35.5, 36 inches wide tip to tip. We've also played around with the Patriot bagger. We've gotten it down to about 34.5. So the widths will be about the same on these models as they are on the previous models as well. All right, so the other biggest change that Harley made on these was the electrical system. There's no longer a throttle by wire sensor into the end of the handle that runs internally. It is now built into the switch housing, and the grip slides into that mechanism, and when you turn the grip, it turns that mechanism and gives the bike throttle. So now you only have your left-hand switch harness and your right-hand switch harness running through the bar. The heated grips, instead of it being a full-length harness that ran through the bar, it's now just a pigtail that comes out of the grip. It comes out of the slot in the handle, wraps back around and plugs into the switch housing. So for the heated grips, you just have the grip, 6-inch pigtail, plugs into the housings on both sides. The control button for the grip, for the heated grips, is in the end like it's always been, but instead of a dial now, it's just a push button. It's got 3 temperature levels, and they will get screaming hot. Also, on the handles, the slots are now facing towards the front wheel. So we had to rotate those handles in order to allow everything to plug in correctly, and the switch covers to mount back up and bolt down. All right, moving over to the Road Glide. Same changes in regards to the electrical system. It's exactly the same as what I just discussed on the Street Glide. The biggest differences on it is, instead of your gauge cluster that covered up the base section of the bar, you now have an exposed riser. All right, we took some measurements on this. The riser position actually sits up 3 inches higher on the new model CVO than it does on the 15 to 23 Road Glides. So a 10-inch bar is going to sit more like a 12-inch bar. 12 is going to sit more like a 14. So when you're considering bars for these bikes, just keep that in mind. It's also It's a wider clamp, so that center section that we'll fabricate will be a little bit wider. Same knurl pattern, it's just a bigger area. Obviously everything's gone digitally to just the screen on both of these. So all your, all your gauges and RPMs, fuel, all that is built into the screen. I forgot to go over on the Street Glide. We were able to go up to a 14-inch bar, and all that was needed was a clutch extension. It's the same clutch extension that has worked for the 21, 22, and 23 models. So that was good, information to find out. The electrical was all long enough. We didn't have to extend it. And on this one, a 12-inch bar can be installed with all stock components. You go up to a 14, you'll have to use the clutch extension, but the electrical will be long enough and the brake will be long enough. All right, so we're gonna take this bar off. We're gonna be putting a 10-inch ornery 8 on here. Again, that's gonna sit like a 12. I'm also gonna get some close-up shots of the new throttle by wire sensor, the heated grips, and I'll just kind of let you see what the electrical harness looks like. All right, this is what I wanted to point out on the throttle by wire. Also, I can show you the rest of the electrical harness as well. So you've got one plug here, that's for your heated grips. All right, this other big one is for your controls. It's got a pigtail that comes off of it. That'll plug into your brake and clutch assemblies. I'm sure there's some kind of safety switch in there. All right, this whole white assembly here, that is now your throttle by wire. So the grip, I'll show you, I'll take the grip off and show you a little bit better, but the grip literally just spins that mechanism. So this is the plug here for it. Grip slide off with the housing. All right, this is the heated grip plug. So again, they've changed this. Doesn't have to go through the entire bar. Literally just goes through the handle, snakes around through the slot, and then plugs back into the housing. That's your new throttle by wire plug there. And there you can see the teeth on the grip. It'll just slide into that assembly and it spins the whole deal. All right, so we've got a 10-inch ornery ape on here. Like I mentioned before, this riser sits up a little higher, 3 inches higher than on the 15 and 23 models. So a 10 is gonna sit like a 12. We put this on with all stock components. I think I mentioned before, you could go up to a 12-inch with stock components. You go up to a 14, you'll have to extend the clutch. We'll play around with that a little bit more and let you know for sure on the brake line. The electrical will definitely be long enough. But yeah, this is a 10-inch bar. I'm 6'1", it fits me very nicely. Almost shoulder height. The ornery 8 came in at 34 inches wide, tip to tip. So it's not, too big of a spread. Should be accommodating for most riders. We'll have the spearhead available for this as well, which is our fully adjustable bars. It's been our most popular part for the road glides for years now. So keep an eye out for that. At the time of shooting this video, if you have one of these bikes and are interested in bars, we highly recommend you call and pre-order. We've got some small batches coming through, to satisfy most of the pre-orders that we have. And we'll continue to grow that number, weekly. But for now, if you're looking for these bars, please give us a call and get on the list. If you have any questions, obviously drop us a comment, give us a phone call, or shoot us an email, and we'll be happy to walk you through anything or answer any questions that you have.